I trained like Gabriel Sîncrăian for about 2 months, and today we're going to be going over what the program looked like, what the results were, things you can learn, things you can do, things you shouldn't do, etc., etc. So let's begin with who Gabriel Sîncrăian is. Now I imagine, because you clicked on the video, you know who he is, but we'll go over quickly anyway. He's likely one of the best, or definitely in the upper echelon of lifters ever. Maybe not necessarily in terms of competition performance, but definitely in terms of the numbers that he hit in training. So as an 85 kilo lifter, he snatched 190 kilos with straps. I believe there's a video of him doing 180 without straps, 225 kilo clean and jerk. There are also insane videos of him doing I think it's 165 kilo power snatch. And anyone who's watched him will just know he has phenomenal technique, but he's just insanely powerful and fast. Gorgeous technician, gorgeous speed. Honestly, it's everything that I love about weightlifting. Fast, powerful, technically proficient. So now let's go over the bit that everyone cares about, the program. If you go to his website, which I'll link down below, you can find the 12-week professional training program, and this is what I was following. So this is a program that's touted to be similar to the way that he prepared for Rio in 2016. Now, obviously it's not, and you will see some differences, but let's just go over 1 week for now. This is just week 1. The first thing we can see, there is 6 days a week, Monday through Saturday, 9 total sessions, so double days, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Now, if you've seen any of the interviews with Gabriel, you may be unsurprised to see that there is very frequent squats, very frequent pulls, and a lot of sets on the Olympic lifts. So, for example, if we look at Monday, Wednesday, and Friday morning sessions, we've heard Gabriel talk about doing strength work in the morning, and here you see, 6 to 8 sets of, in this first week, it's 3 to 4 reps, but later on, it rarely goes below 2 reps. You're basically looking at 6 to 8 sets, 2 to 4 reps on the back squat, followed by the similar rep range and set range for pulls, followed by 6 sets of strict press was pretty standard, started at 5s, worked down to 3s. Then in the PM of those days, you see a lot of sets of the Olympic lifts, and it sort of alternates what the focus is. So day 1, you focus on the snatch. You have full snatch, I believe that is 9 sets of snatch above 60%, followed by power clean and jerk. So the power clean and jerk was a little bit easier, and there was even more pulls after that. Then on the Wednesday, you see clean and jerk is the priority, and he actually put that exercise first, which I don't love, but it was interesting to try, followed by power snatch, and then the Friday was snatch and power clean and jerk again. Now the Friday stayed as snatch and power clean and jerk until about week 4 or 5, and then it became alternating between snatch and power clean and jerk and snatch and clean and jerk. The clean and jerk is much more fatiguing, so he programmed it less frequently. Now, if we look at the interim days, Tuesday was consistently a push press, front squat, snatch pull day, and Thursday varied quite a lot. So you can see on week 1, we had snatch push press, overhead squats, snatch pulls, but sometimes there were things like jerk from rack, snatch balances, that sort of thing. The only thing that there was never was there were no squats. And then Saturday was basically only squats and pulls. So I suppose a brief note on what is the difference between this program and the way that he trained. Well, this is almost definitely easier. I remember from interviews with Gabriel, he talked about sometimes doing technical work in the morning as well. He probably did do similar squat, pull, and press work that's shown here, but he may have also done some light snatch work, some light jerk work, whatever his weakness was. Similarly, in the PM, I'm sure it was a lot more frequent for him to do full snatch and full clean and jerk together than is done in this program. And probably the biggest thing is just the lack of lifts on the interim days. So I know Thursday for them was really a recovery day, and it probably did look similar to something on this program. But the Tuesday push press, front squat, and snatch pull, there's no snatch work, and I know Gabriel talked about there being weakness work on the interim days. So when he was at his peak, he would actually have 3 sessions on a Monday, 3 sessions Wednesday, 3 sessions Friday, and Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday were recovery days. But if an athlete lacked in snatch technical or jerk technical work, they might have more of that work on that given day. Okay, so now let's switch over to some commentary, and we'll talk over what you can learn from this program, my progress, all that sort of thing. So right here, unsurprisingly, we have a morning session with squats. But that's maybe the first thing. Is it was quite a nice experiment, and it might be for you to practice squatting as frequently as Gabriel did and many elite weightlifters do. Luckily for me, I'd been squatting frequently, like 5 days a week, for a while before I came into this. But honestly, it was the volume of the pulls absolutely threw me. Some very nice technical snatches here, and that sort of comes up into the second thing. So nice experiment to do high frequency squats and pulls, but the fatigue could really throw some of your lifts. The snatch, because it's a bit more technical, a bit less strength demanding, tend to suffer a lot less, but the clean and jerk really did suffer sometimes from just that fatigue in the legs. The second thing is the high frequency. So for some reason we have all snatches here. You can see that I'm looking pretty quick, pretty technically sharp, and that's probably the main advantage of this, is getting to do so much work with the snatch weights. So, you know, there's 8, 10, 12 sets, I think, in some sessions, and he's more than willing, Gabriel that is, to prescribe 3 sets of 3 at 60%, 3 sets of 3 at 70%. So you do so many sets on the way up that you just can't dodge doing the work and getting a lot in. You see me struggle busting through some squats there. Yeah, woof. Some of them were pretty rough, to be honest. I think this session coming up here was the second max out session of the program. So the first max out session you do is week 4. So weeks 1, 2, and 3, and obviously the first half of week 4 you sort of ramp up, and then you're allowed to do your first max out. So max snatch, max clean and jerk, and then subsequently after that you would do a max out every other week. And I actually think that's quite a nice way to approach it. So what he would do is, on a max out week, Monday and Wednesday sessions wouldn't really go over 85% in the lifts, and then on Friday you'd max out. And then on the next week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, you would actually try and touch like 90%. So you didn't have the peak intensity, but the average was probably similar, and you got a lot of those reps in at 90%, which is, I mean, it's really valuable from a technical and psychological standpoint, all that sort of thing. Wow, this session really highlights how much work you have to do, because again, even those max out sessions, he would have you doing, you know, 2 or 3 sets at 60%, 2 or 3 sets at 70%, probably 2 sets at 80%, maybe 2 at 85, maybe 2 at 90. So a lot of work, double at 90 kilos here. As usual, I filmed more of the snatch than the clean and jerk because I love the snatch. Yeah, very nice. Go as a double at 95 as well. So now I'll talk about the progress to my lifts. So I think when I came in, I had a 105 kilo clean and jerk. I did 2 months of the program. I didn't finish the 3 months because honestly, the amount of fatigue coming from all those squats and pulls was actually making me worse at the lifting. So I really enjoy the high frequency of lifting, and I even enjoy high frequency squatting, but it does take away from your ability to hit the heavier lifts. So snatch went from 105 to 110 in 2 months. Clean and jerk went from 120 to 125. But I mean, what you can really see is how consistent I was. That was my first attempt at 110. How consistent I was at heavier weights. So after you got past that 4th week, I was confidently hitting 100, even 105 every other Friday in the max outs. And because I was doing 90%, like you're doing like 95, 100 kilos all the time, which is amazing. Ooh, that was a yucky press out though. Oof. That's something that I find personally for me is when I get fatigued, my shoulder mobility just disappears. Like normally it's reasonable, but when I get tired, it's just like my body's like, nope, not allowed. Now, This is another interesting thing that I've noticed before. So you just saw me hit an 150 kilo front squat, which was definitely a PR. And it's not something the program doesn't program like maxes for the squat, but there is a note that says in the middle 4 weeks. So you have the first 4 weeks, which is prep. The middle 4 weeks he calls the strength phase. The final 4 weeks is the peak. So I actually didn't even get to the peak, and I'd already hit PRs. In the strength phase, it's like, if you feel good, you can go for more. So that happens sometimes, and I hit that 150 kilo front squat. You tend to see that in the like very high fatigued settings. So when you're doing this many squats, this many lifts, this many pulls, the back squat can really suffer. Like your ability to hit those heavier weights in the back squat, I think because of all of the loading through your spine as well, just goes like out the window. Whereas like the front squat, I mean, that's when I've hit all of my PR front squats, is when I was just absolutely exhausted. So it might tie in with, I mean, you saw that from the Bulgarians as well, obviously. 100 kilo double here. One of my favorite sets that I've ever done, actually. It was just very nice and quick. I'm happy with that. 105. So this was a huge week. Right here, I'd actually hurt my shoulder. Well, I'd hurt my shoulder a little bit. This is the first time I hurt my shoulder. If you've watched any of my other videos and heard me talking about my shoulder, it was actually during this program that it exploded. So yeah, the Monday of this week, 100 kilo snatch double, 105 kilo snatch single. Day 2, this was not on the program. I just went off program. Someone else was block snatching. So Tuesday I did an 100 kilo block snatch double after doing the 100 kilo double the day before. Day 3, snatched up to 105, so that was 90. Here's 100. Nice. This is hook grip as well. Oh no, I pulled out the straps for 105. There we go. And then here's the Friday. This was the day, and I had set a date to hit the 110 by then. I think I had a bet on with my girlfriend that I could hit it by this time. So there's a 105, pretty good. You can see my hips are a little bit stiff as well, probably similarly to how my shoulders seized up. My hips were tighter from the fatigue. And then a 125 clean and jerk, so a bit underwhelming, but there we go. So all in all, nice program to try. Most people probably shouldn't do it. If you're going to learn anything, high volume lifts are great if you can get away with them, but high frequency squats and pulls can just absolutely thrash you. So sure, I'm going to get some comments about training like a tool again, but fuck it. I enjoy training like a twat, and then I can report back to the world and say, yeah, that was a bad idea. You were right. Don't do it.